do you guys think? Is it about time for a craft room update? Well, here we are. We try and do this about once every year. This is video number 250. So that's the other reason why this one has to be so special. But yeah, this is just your everyday craft room for everybody. We moved me up from the back of the garage several years ago. My husband did, and he has helped me add on things in this room so that I wasn't crafting in the middle of the Canadian winter in the back of the garage, like Amy Rasavi from Prairie Paper and Ink does. But what we did was we kind of set everything up so that I can basically sit at the desk and kind of reach everything within, spinny office chairs to reach. And so we've set my cardstock up on the side here, rainbow order of course, and then going up into the neutrals and the vellums and the foils and the glitters, all the way up to the white and blacks up at the top. And I do have some others down underneath there. That's my Nina and my Prism and my Accent and my Hammer Mill. And then we've started into putting the paint all in this corner, so that's my watercolors and watercolor brushes, and then just some of the overflow inks that I have that are one-offs from companies I don't typically have. That is my very large stock of Close to My Heart, which has gone out of business, but they're who I started out with. And some of my alcohol markers, the others are still in the closet because I don't have enough room, and I tend to only use the Altenew ones, which are at the bottom now. And that's our special little unicorn up at the top. And he's got a little belly that you can open and put things in. And then I had to move my oxides, most of them down here. I need to get another stack to get rid of those guys up at the top because it's bugging my perfectionism. Of course, just my tags from the Tags and Techniques hop. And we've got several on there now. One of the lights, overhead lights for filming. There's usually another side light that goes here. Of course, just sitting at the chair, I've immediately got a little garbage there. And in these cubby holes, they're my most used embossing powders, plus my stamp chamois and my anti-static powder tool, and then just the old chalk brush that I used from my Misty so that I get the even pressure watercolor pencils from Tim Holtz. Custom stamps are sitting here on the side, Misty in the corner for easy grabbing, and over in this corner we have basically card bases from Nina that I've already cut, scoreboard. These ones are mostly like waffle flower, all the nesting dies through there. My most used die sets, most of them are nesting dies. So I just keep them out there. Those are the oxide inks in the back. And these ones in the front here are the mini blending brushes and my normal ink brushes. And you can see that on those, I have got a little piece of tape to let me know that these are ink and not the oxide one. And I have a couple of pigment brushes there too. That is for my white pigment, and then there's a Tickle Pink one in there and a Versamark one in there too. That's tools that I rarely use, like a snip tool for die cuts that come still stuck together, and some stamp cleaner and hole punch. This is tapes and adhesives. Spray bottles, Mr. That's a distress sprayer, those large blending brushes that come in their own housing casing, and then the craft tacky glue upside down, the glue from Altenew. And this is the one I use the most, and I just tend to mix a bunch in there, and sometimes I'll put a bit of water in so that it thins it out a bit. And of course, again, rainbow order for those guys. And then in the ones in the front, we have got basically my metallic pens in the back, and then things like my palette knives, extra overflow brushes, water brushes, and my jelly pens, my black fine liners, Wink of Stella, got scissors in there, extra napkins, of course emergency nail supplies, and then just typical tools through here. Those were what my alcohol markers came in, and these little guys, They work wonderfully for just jamming your tools in. And then just larger acrylic blocks, smaller acrylic blocks in there. And on the shelves, we have the Distress sprays on the bottom, some of the shimmer, some of the solar sprays, some of the pastes. Those are like my Nouveaux and my Stickles and glossy accents, and then Mod Podge. I like using my Mod Podge. That's the last of my oxides. And then, I think you're going to get some light leaking from the big lights overhead. So I'm going to see how we can do this. But this is what I've got so far for Altenew. I think it's about 89. And then we're going to sneak up here on top behind. And you can see that those are my mica sprays and the oxide sprays up on top. And on top are all my re-inkers, and that is the full line of Tim Holtz inks and oxide inks up there. So yay! Plus, of course, some Versamark and stuff like that. Now over on this side, because this is the attic, we have our fireplace for cold winter nights, and trust me, next to this window, which looks out on the forest next door, oh, it does get cold. We have to put plastic on in the winter. Oh, and I have knocked my calendar. So, ta-da! 1st of August. Got that for helping out the 4-H. Oh, it's very nice. Just a little block calendar. So over here, this is where I keep friends' cards that come in. Hello, Kiri. There's your card there. And then just my splatter. It's splatter mug that I custom made, and Amy's got a matching one. And then these are some of the flowers that my hubby gets me on my birthday and other occasions. And the roses have got little splatters on them because he knows me too well. And then over here is my staging area for cards that I have to mail out, and this one has got to go out by the 3rd week of August. And then just up there are some of the cards that I couldn't bear to part with, either because they had special meaning for me when I started, or they were ones I did for my first design team work for certain companies, or they're Halloween and my husband doesn't want me to get rid of them, and I don't want to get rid of them either because they're wonderful. And then these ones down here are just ones that I was really happy with, or that won inspiration challenges, and I'm just not able to part with them. That being said, I have started getting rid of some of mine now because, hey, I just got too many. There's a tub down here. I'll show you quick too. So just up on top, we have our sparkle lights. And this is from my great friend Star. I never worry when I get lost. I just change where I want to go because I get lost all the time. And this is, of course, Warning Genius at work. So it's just a private giggle for me for having them in the back. I've got my stamps and my die cuts all in tubs, pretty much labeled, and it's mostly Altenew, a little bit of Simon Says Stamp, a lot of Close to My Heart. So basically flowers, flower die sets, stencils, and then things like background cling stamps there. That's various getting into the food, and then the animal stamps are behind. These two ones, I have them categorized by holidays, so it starts out with Valentine's through Canada's Day, and then it has autumn, and then it has Halloween and Thanksgiving at the end of that one, and that entire tub is all Christmas. So I've had to split that apart into, like, all the sentiments and die cuts are up at the front, and then there's a snow category, and there's an animals category, and there's a baking category, and there's a Christmas tree category, and there's a presents category in there. So yeah, Christmas is a biggie thing. And then down here, these two tubs are basically the die cuts and the word sentiments. You can see that the majority of them. This is hard to grab this out when you're filming with your tablet in one hand. They're pretty much just all inspirational stamps, like all good messages. And these ones, the word dies, sick sympathy, creativity. I have a huge section that's just those things that you put on back of envelopes for crafty friends. So that's fun. And then these tubs, basically, we have a whole bunch of bling bling in there because I like my shiny bling bling. Oh, get an action wobblers. Oh boy, I gotta steal something. Just don't get me pulling this out further, but I'm gonna do it for you. Here's some Google Eyes. I have a whole tub of Google Eyes in there, everybody. It's gonna be a good Halloween. But underneath that, it's got other embellishments down below in that tub. This one, you can see it's all my Perfect Pearls, Lindy's powders, the Nouveau powders in the back, and then into my embossing powders, and then the bottom is overflow for that with the embossing glazes and all the other embossing powders that I have. This one is more paste, assorted media, and just leftover paint crayons. Like I have those old Jello, those thick crayons that are in there too, as well as my distress crayons. And it's just things like my shimmer paste, the glitz and the glimmer paste, some overflow on the distress ones, and that's more paper glitz in the back, and then my solar paste, which I think you guys can all see are the ones I tend to use the most, right? It's shiny on it. So we have some props in here because you need to take clear pictures if you want companies to notice you. And glues, you know, my Alina and a whole bunch of other glues that's just overflow in there. And ribbon bin, twine bin, hey, we've all still got one, right? I think we only really use the twine mostly now. Down here, let's see, glitter. I have not used that glitter because it's not the biodegradable stuff, right? Save the planet. So it's down there, but I can't bear to get rid of it. But the rest of it is tools. Like I had a whole bunch of those Fiskars scissors, you know, that had all the shaped edges, and there's probably like 12 or 13 of them in there. And when do we ever use those anymore? And you can see some of the other old Fiskars stuff, like for cutting out circles and things like that. Like, you know, remember, you know, 10, 15 years ago, and that's how we did it. These two here are card bases and cards that could go out to people, but I'm not super happy with them. And these are all my envelopes, stored in rainbow color, of course, and neutrals, and my postage meter. I still have to go down to the post office to get them to measure on whether I'm too thick with some of my embellishments. But for the most part, I hit it pretty bang on, so I know how much postage to put on. That bin has just got things like my iron in it, my jelly print, just a bunch of other, you know, old tools and stuff like that that I rarely use that are just big items. Oh, some of my mats are in there too. And then I had to move my embossing folders down here. And these are some of the homemade diffusers that I did with them. So I just store those in the front. And then these ones I tend to store by company. So Spellbinders, Dries, a lot of Altenew ones in there, and more Spellbinders in the back, the oversize. And then I've got a lot of my other stencils just stored in here. This used to be something that you could put embossing folders in, but I just found it easier for keeping the stencils flat. And then down there, we have my better press, which gets pulled out quite a bit because I now use it more than my glimmer, which is down here. And the glimmer, I try and keep it on that shelf and not bang it around too much, because apparently they do not like being banged around and can cause them to start going on the fritz. And then just a tub with the foils and stuff inside. And let's see, I don't know if it'll pick it up. Behind there, just extra paper, and then my wax seals and little wax jewels to melt down. More paper underneath, my blood pressure machine, and a press and seal. Of course, guillotine trimmer, extra scoreboard, paper towel, a must in the craft room, and my bigger Fiskars trimmer. And then this is foam tape and ultra sticky tape inside that one. So that's what's in that area. And then on the other side underneath, I learned this from Kathy Zilski. She just hangs her microfiber towels right next to the desk on hooks. And I have got my makeup art station, my watercolor papers down there. On that side, the heat gun with a silicone mat behind it so that I can just hang it up and it cools better, and then I can very visually see that it is unplugged. So, what else have we got in here? Oh yeah, the back of that chair. So this is stuff that is typically for my Big Shot die cut machine. That's one of them. So it's extra plates and things like the embossing mat. This is one of my old close to my heart mats. I just keep it out. And I have back behind there, there's a little Blossom die cut machine too. And then in the closet, which I've kind of started taking over, we had our pantry in here. I guess we can't see it, but way up in that back corner, that's one of my old tote bags from going to the crops. My old Cuddlebugs back up in there too. So in here, we just thought it would be easier to put out the mailing boxes up at the top with the envelopes. And I have a project for these in mind. Those are from Altenew. They're really nice bubble envelope mailers. And then on next level, these are all those plastic sleeves that you get from your stamps and your die cuts, and I keep them and I send my cards out in them in the envelope going through the mail, and it has definitely saved at least one because it got totally chopped up, but the card was fine. That's some of my gel polishes. So I do my own nails. I think I've got about 200 polishes. This Sarah Renee Clark, they're wonderful, the color cubes, but since I've gotten them, I'm only pulling them out once a month, and that's to do the Cube and Create pop. I just didn't take to them like I thought I would, and I'm certain we've all got things like that where we invested a lot of money and then we really didn't get our money's worth out. But they are gorgeous. They are lovely. And these are extra spares I've got, or things that we're going to do for giveaways. And in that corner had some more of my paints. Right there is just my photo light box and my splat box and my extra ot light, and that's just the office supplies. And of course down below, that's the old sewing machine that I get out for some of my real mixed media ones, and it used to do my horse blankets, so you can't get after it for whining. But anyways, yeah, that's about it, guys. So what we're hoping to do is, we're having trouble with the webcam interfacing with my live stream program that I'm trying out. So we have to get this lovely Canon somehow with this mount up to the ceiling somehow, but we don't have a stud finder yet. So that's the next project on. And do you not love my Canadian red greenery? Look at that. Yeah. I've got the microphone on top of the webcam so that it's above my vision from when I'm here at the desk, but so that it still picks my voice up well. So yeah, we find ways, don't we? So there we are, everybody. Okay, thank goodness I'm in a little bit better mood than I have been in the last few days. I got really mopey-dopey because the YouTube algorithm is beating us up bad. Oh my goodness, we're just not getting the views. And like, if I do cards like this and do videos for them, and I'm always squeaking and chirping and laughing and stuff like that, so I've got the personality, why am I not getting picked up by YouTube? Oh well, okay, it'll come. I'm just being impatient. So yeah, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself, Lorraine. Wasn't that Wesley Snipes in Chuang Fu? Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. Anyway, I think that's the majority of it. So I will let you guys continue on with crafting in your craft room. Thanks for watching with me. Everybody have a great evening, afternoon, morning, wherever it is that you are. And we'll catch you next year, I guess. All right? Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye now.